Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, Dish and Sling TV possibly being bought by Walmart, Roku, or Amazon. These buyers and more are potential suitors for another sale. We'll tell you what's happening with that. Netflix is also facing pressure to explain its plan to become a green company. They made some promises, and now some investors want them to come through on them and explain exactly how they're going to do that. Also, ESPN Plus, do you subscribe to it? You could be owed some cash. We'll break this down and a whole lot more in a quick second. First though, as always, you can find a link to each story I talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comments. You can read them for yourself, come up with your own opinions, and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button or hitting that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. All right, let's dive into it. So, late last year, Dish and Sling TV went up for sale to DirecTV in a deal that was that was basically a $1 sale. For $1, DirecTV would buy both companies, but they would absorb the debt for both companies, freeing Dish's parent company, EchoStar, to focus on becoming a wireless phone company. That deal failed after debt holders disagreed with the terms and declined the sale, ending the deal. Now, there's again rumors flying that potential sale could be in the works, that Dish is not done putting itself up for sale for its TV business at least. Now, who would potentially be those buyers? Well, a few come to mind right off the bat. According to what I've seen over time, one of my picks is Walmart. Walmart used to be in the streaming world with Vudu. They've been trying to heavily diversify into ad streaming and their business overall, just out of just selling stuff, but making stuff. And they recently purchased Vizio smart televisions, including their free ad-supported streaming service. And buying Dish could kind of go into that realm of diversification, ad sales, and more with it. Of all of them, I think Walmart's probably the least likely. Well, yes, Walmart has been looking to diversify. Yes, they want to get into ad sales. This is kind of pretty far from their core business, but not out of the possibilities. Roku, though, I think is a much more likely purchase. Roku makes now a majority of its money from subscriptions and ad sales. Hardware now accounts for less than 50% of its yearly income as it becomes more of a services and subscription company. So with that, you can see them interested in buying something like Sling TV or Dish. With that, they could potentially expand their business, get more subscriber revenue, more ads, integrate it right into Roku better. There is some problems with that. It could upset some of their partners there, but Google TV does this, and other streaming services have no problem putting their content on Google TV, even though they own YouTube and YouTube TV. So we'll keep an eye on that. But one that I think maybe actually the most likely is Amazon. Amazon has a growing sports business with NFL Thursday Night Football, some other NFL games, NBA games, many other sports content either on Amazon Prime Video or coming. Well, I don't think Sling TV would be bundled free with Prime Video. I do see it coming in there and supplementing their desire to become a sports streaming service. Keep an eye on Amazon as a potential buyer. That's a very serious potential there. It fits very well into their business. They have the money, and they have reportedly been very interested in becoming a bigger player in the world of sports streaming. And lastly, private equity firms. TPG recently bought the remainder of, or is buying, I should say, they announced a deal to buy the remainder of AT&T share of DirecTV and become the sole owner of DirecTV. Well, I don't think they would buy Dish after the failed merger attempt already, but another similar investment group could very well be a buyer for Dish. We'll keep an eye on that, private equity. Now, one big catch here, what I'm hearing from multiple sources now, is that many people expect Dish to go into bankruptcy. While they have money to go for several more months, well into this year, maybe even early next year if the cards all get played right. But many are speculating that since the DirecTV merger failed, they will probably be facing bankruptcy. Because of that, many buyers are cautiously watching. Dish has billions, and I mean billions, in debt. And if they're even able to write off some of that, could make them a much more appetizing purchase for a potential buyer. Look for Dish and Sling TV to maybe face bankruptcy before they get sold this year, and that could severely delay things into future years. It would not surprise me at all to see a bankruptcy happening this year. So keep an eye. Potential buyers, that's what we know, that's what we speculate. Leave me a comment. Who do you think should buy Dish and Sling TV? That you think is actually able to. I know Fubo is going to come up a lot. I don't know if Fubo at this moment would be interested because they're currently in the process of Hulu. And they have a lot of debt themselves, absorbing billions of more debt. I don't know if it's something Fubo is going to want to do at this moment. All right, next up, Netflix shareholders will vote on a proposal for specific climate change plans. Now, Netflix has committed itself to reducing its carbon emissions by half by 2030. Now, an activist investor has a proposal out for shareholders to vote on to force Netflix to basically explain how they're intending to do that. A lot of companies made these pledges. I have to find it funny. Now, Netflix is one of the closest, but a lot of these companies who made these pledges for like 10, 15 years from now, the people making those pledges probably won't have to follow through on them because they probably won't be there. They significantly push that can down the road far enough that they get to retire long before that becomes a reality. Let's be honest, sticking whoever their successor is with the challenge of meeting these greenhouse goals. Now, with this shareholder, though, wants the current administration at Netflix to come up with a plan and clearly lay out on how they intend to reduce their greenhouse gases. We'll see what happens. I suspect we'll see more companies do this. Some of the biggest consumers of power are tech companies. Okay, I think they are probably now the biggest, especially with AI, but also with streaming. It consumes a ton of power. It'll be interesting to see how they do that. All right, next story up. ESPN Plus subscribers could be getting up to $2,500. Okay, that sounds great in a lawsuit. Probably not getting that much money. At least that's how it always seems. There's a lawsuit right now leaning in at ESPN Plus and ESPN customers over privacy rights use violations that hopes to get payouts. If you're interested in learning more, if you were a customer and want to find out more, link in the show notes. We have full details there. I've got money from several things like this, but when you hear the big number, you rarely get that. Just keep that in mind. All right, this week in TV history, a big one. Walker, Texas Ranger, 32 years ago this week, debuted on CBS, kicking off a legendary television series that still resonates today and is very popular. Any Walker, Texas Ranger fans? I remember growing up. Remember going to my grandma's house? It was always on TV, it felt like. That, Wheel of Fortune, and Jeopardy. But does it surprise you that it's been 32 years since that show came out? All right, Fire TV, YouTube TV is getting a little bit better integration. If you've noticed recently, you're probably noticing on the continue watching, which is that top row on Fire TV's home screen, which recommends content for you were watching for you to continue watching. In the past, it really relied heavily on Amazon things or subscriptions through Amazon's Prime channels to things like Paramount Plus, but you subscribe to it through Amazon to quickly jump into that last TV show you just watched. Now Amazon started to integrate better with YouTube TV to allow you to quickly jump back to the last channel you were just watching, DVR program or more, right from the Fire TV home screen without needing to open the app first. Hopefully more apps get support for Amazon's Fire TV. Continue watching soon. And speaking of Amazon, the Fire TV will reportedly, we talked about this a little over the weekend, end sideloading support this year. Now, we talked about this. There's a new operating system coming to Fire TVs. I think this front end, what you're seeing here, will remain the same. Currently, under the hood here is Android. Android is what powers Fire TVs right now. Now, Amazon wants to move away from Android and launch their own OS called Vega. Now, Elias over at AFTVnews.com, an amazing website, covers all things Amazon. He's a former Amazon Fire TV team member that worked on the Fire TVs. And before that, he ran the site, then worked for Amazon, and now is back running the site. He's a great guy. He came out and said, if you rely on he came out in response to a comment about sideloading with this new OS and said, none of these apps you currently sideload will run on Vega OS. We don't know if sideloading will even be possible on Vega OS, But even if it is, they will have to be apps that are specifically made for Vega OS, which currently do not exist. He added, if you rely on side-loading apps, you will likely won't ever want to buy a Fire TV running Vega OS. All right, now that's what he said. He's a very informed person. I know for the vast majority of you that's not a problem, but there's quite a few people who enjoy side-loading apps onto Fire tablets, TVs, and the like. That may be coming to an end with this new OS. According to Alias's report, sometime this year, we'll see the new OS come to the new mouse Fire TV. No word on older devices if they're going to retroactively go back and update. I think that's less likely, but I do think it's likely that newer devices will get the update and will not be running Android anymore, eliminating the ability to sideload. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. Keep an eye on this channel. Keep an eye on the YouTube or on CoreCartersNews.com also. For any breaking news, what we post here is just a fraction of what's actually posted over at CoreCartersNews.com. We just kind of pick some of the biggest hits here, or something I think I have something interesting to say about. So make sure to check out CoreCartersNews.com for all kinds of other news stories that may not make these videos. You can also subscribe to our daily newsletter. We email you every morning a list of stories. You can find how to sign up for it for free in the show notes. I have a link right there. Well, until next time, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.